6 essential vitamins to keep your legs strong in old age. They say old age doesn't arrive all at once, it tiptoes in, quietly, not through wrinkles, not through silver hair, but through the legs. Yes, the legs, that's where aging whispers its first warning, where strength begins to slip away, and independence starts to feel just a little more fragile. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Thomas. He lived to be 94. Each morning, without fail, he'd open the creaky gate of his garden, place one hand behind his back, and walk. One foot in front of the other, slowly, but steadily. Neighbors would watch from their porches, amazed, because Thomas wasn't being active, he was making a statement. With every step, he was saying, "I may be old, but I am not done yet." But here's what most people didn't know. At 68, Thomas nearly lost the ability to walk altogether. He had tripped one morning, barely able to rise. His doctor told him, "Your legs are weakening." It's natural at your age, natural. That word hit him harder than the fall, but Thomas wasn't ready to surrender. He spent the next 20 years fighting, not against aging, but against ignorance. And the first thing he learned, the legs are the first to go. But they don't have to be. You see, by the time we reach our 60s, our leg muscles, especially the quadriceps and hamstrings, begin to shrink. It's called sarcopenia, the silent thief of muscle. It doesn't knock, it doesn't shout, it simply takes, and the scariest part, you don't notice, until stairs feel steeper, until getting out of a chair takes effort, until your legs tremble just from standing too long. But let's be clear, weak legs don't just affect your body, they change your soul. Because when the legs weaken, so does your sense of freedom. You walk less, you explore less, you become less curious, less social, less alive. That's how aging wins, not by making you older, but by convincing you to stop moving. But now comes the turning point, because here's the truth, you can keep your legs strong, even into your 70s. 80s, 90s, even if you're watching this at 94, just like Thomas. But it takes more than exercise, it takes understanding, it takes nourishment, and it takes something most seniors overlook, vitamins. Not just any vitamins, but 6 essential ones that science, ancient wisdom, and real-life stories all agree on. Each one plays a specific role. From strengthening your bones, to improving blood flow, to keeping your nerves sharp, and your muscles firm. They're not miracles, they're not magic, they're tools, nature's quiet allies, waiting for you to notice them. So, in this journey, we're going to uncover them, one by one, and by the time we finish, you'll understand that keeping your legs strong in old age is not just about walking, it's about living, because as one old proverb says, when the legs no longer move, the soul forgets how to dance. But we're not here to forget, we're here to remember how to move, how to live, and how to stand tall, no matter your age. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you stood in the morning sun, and just stood there, not to check the weather, not to rush off to errands, but to simply let the light touch your skin, that golden light? It's not just warmth, it's not just beauty, it's life, and hidden inside that sunlight is one of the most powerful weapons against aging, vitamin D. Thomas, remember him, at 68. He was told his legs were failing, but the first thing he changed wasn't the gym, it wasn't supplements, it was his mornings. Each day, before the world woke up, he would sit by the window or walk through his garden barefoot, letting the sun kiss his arms, his face, his spirit. He didn't know the science back then, but he felt something change. He felt stronger. Years later, a doctor explained it to him, your vitamin D levels are excellent, for a man half your age. That's when Thomas smiled, because he had unknowingly cracked the sunshine code. Vitamin D is not just a vitamin, it's a lifeline for your bones. It tells your body, absorb that calcium. It tells your muscles, stay strong. It tells your immune system, stand guard. But here's the problem, most people over 60 are dangerously low in vitamin D, and when you're deficient, your bones begin to thin, your muscles start to wobble, your legs, your very foundation, begin to betray you. Falls become common, fractures become devastating, and fear starts replacing freedom. But it doesn't have to be this way. nature already gave us the answer. It's written into sunlight, and it's found in humble foods, too: fatty fish like salmon, egg yolks, mushrooms exposed to sunlight, fortified milk, and yes, sometimes, especially in winter, you may need a supplement. But more than anything, you need to remember this. Your bones do not grow strong in the shadows, they grow strong in the light. Now, let's be clear, we're not saying go bake in the sun for hours, we're saying, embrace the light intelligently. Even 15 minutes a day, hands exposed, face uncovered, can awaken your inner strength, because vitamin D doesn't just build bones, it builds confidence, it builds resilience, it builds a foundation so solid, you can carry the weight of wisdom, age, and legacy. So if you're over 60, listen carefully. If you want to stand longer, walk farther, and live fuller, step into the light, not just metaphorically, but biologically, because sunlight is not the enemy, it is a forgotten ally, and vitamin D is its silent gift. Thomas knew it, and because of it, he walked at 94 without a cane, not because he fought time, but because he partnered with nature. Let this be your first key, the first vitamin in the chain of strength, independence, and graceful aging. Some things in life, you can't see, but you feel them, like love, like time, and like the silent electricity that runs through your body, powering every single move you make. We call them nerves, tiny messengers, racing from your brain to your legs in the blink of an eye, telling your muscles to move, your feet to lift, your balance to hold, and behind those nerves, one quiet, essential key: vitamin B12. Let me tell you something most doctors don't explain well: weak legs aren't always about weak muscles, sometimes, the muscles are just not getting the message. That's what happened to Maria. She was 73, still sharp, still bright, still cooking for her grandkids every Sunday. But lately, her legs had begun to betray her. She would stumble while standing still, her feet felt numb, almost like cotton inside her shoes. One afternoon, she fell, not from a slippery floor, but from something more dangerous, a misfired signal from her brain to her legs. Her muscles were ready, but the message never arrived. After tests and frustration, they found the culprit: vitamin B12 deficiency. You see, B12 is like insulation around a wire. It protects your nerves. It keeps your electrical system clean, fast, sharp. Without it, your nerves begin to fray, signals become distorted, and your legs no longer listen the way they used to. You may still want to walk, but your body hesitates, and the worst part, most seniors have no idea they're low in B12, because it doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just whispers, "I'm tired. My feet tingle. My legs feel heavy." But here's the good news: vitamin B12 is incredibly powerful, and incredibly easy to replenish. It's found in meats, fish, dairy, and eggs. It's also available in simple supplements, especially for seniors who struggle to absorb it through food. And when it returns to your system, the change is often stunning. Maria, within months, her strength came back, not just in her body, but in her spirit. She laughed again. She cooked again, she danced, yes, danced, with her grandson at his wedding, all because her nerves remembered how to speak, all because she nourished her invisible power. So ask yourself, are your legs truly weak, or are they just missing the spark? Because sometimes, it's not about training harder, it's about restoring the signal, it's about giving your body the tools to reconnect with itself, and vitamin B12, that's your reconnection. We've now uncovered two keys: the sunlight that builds your bones, and the invisible electricity that commands your movement. But there's another secret, one that flows through every joint, every ligament, every cell. It cushions. It lubricates, it moves you in ways you forgot were possible. There's a sound that many seniors fear more than silence. It's the faint crackle of knees when rising, the stiff grind of hips after a night's sleep, the groan, not from your voice, but from your very joints. Age does many things, but perhaps its cruelest trick is stealing your fluidity, turning graceful motion into mechanical effort, turning a simple bend into a question: will I be able to stand back up? But what if I told you, That inside an orange, a bell pepper, a humble kiwi, there's a secret to restoring that motion. Yes, I'm talking about the elastic secret, vitamin C. Let me take you to Okinawa, an island where elders walk upright well into their 90s. Their joints don't creak, their steps don't hesitate, and their gardens are filled with something simple, citrus. But it's not just tradition. It's chemistry. Vitamin C is not just for colds, it's the unsung hero of your collagen, that fibrous, rubbery protein that makes your joints glide, your skin stretch, your ligaments flex. Without collagen, your knees feel like rusted hinges, your tendons tighten, your cartilage, the cushion between bones, thins and cracks, and without enough vitamin C, your body can't make that collagen. It's like trying to build a bridge with no steel, it won't hold, it can't. Remember Harold? He was 81, a retired violinist, not a runner. Not a hiker, just a man who wanted to get out of his chair, without feeling like he had climbed Everest. His doctor told him, "Your joints are deteriorating." But Harold, ever curious, didn't just accept it. He looked into nutrition. He began to eat guavas, bell peppers, strawberries, and yes, oranges too. He also added a high-quality vitamin C supplement. In 6 months, he wasn't sprinting, but he was moving. He could bend without bracing, stand without groaning, and one day, he picked up his violin again, and played standing tall. That's the silent power of vitamin C, not loud. Not flashy, but absolutely essential. It repairs tissue, it fights inflammation, it slows the wear and tear of time itself, and in a world of processed food and fast aging, it's shockingly easy to become deficient, especially after 60. Why? Because as you age, your body needs more, not less. But often, you're eating less, not more. So what can you do? Eat color, bright, vibrant color, oranges, papayas, kale, red peppers, even broccoli. Yes, broccoli is a vitamin C powerhouse, and when needed, supplement, because flexibility isn't just physical, it's freedom. So, if your knees speak in whispers, if your joints hesitate before you do, remember, they're not asking for miracles, they're asking for collagen, and collagen is asking for vitamin C. It's not too late, you can still bend time, but we're not done yet, because strength doesn't live in the bones alone, or nerves, or joints, it lives in every cell, every drop of energy that fuels your step. If you could look beneath your skin, past the muscles, past the bones, past even the nerves, you'd find the true battlefield of aging. It's not what you see in the mirror, it's not the gray hairs or the wrinkled hands, it's the war happening inside your cells. Every breath you take, every bite you eat, every second that ticks by, tiny particles called free radicals are born. They bounce around inside you, damaging your DNA, weakening your cells, stealing your energy, bit by bit. It's the slow erosion of vitality, and most people, they don't notice until they can't walk up the stairs without stopping, until their legs feel heavy, not from effort, but from age. But what if you had a shield, a defender living inside you, one that fights back, not just for your heart, not just for your brain, but for the very strength in your legs? That silent warrior is vitamin E. You may not hear much about it, it doesn't get the spotlight like C or D, but vitamin E is the guardian of your cells. It neutralizes the free radicals, it preserves your muscle fibers. It protects the mitochondria, your body's energy engines, keeping every step full of life. Instead of fatigue, when vitamin E is abundant, you feel it in the most ordinary ways. You rise from your chair with less hesitation, you walk a little farther without needing to stop. You feel more youthful, not just in body, but in spirit. Let me tell you about Robert. He was 87, a former carpenter with hands that had built homes, but now struggled to lift a hammer. His legs, once sturdy as oak, had grown brittle. He blamed age, of course. Who wouldn't? But his granddaughter, a young nutritionist fresh out of school, asked him one question, "Grandpa, when was the last time you had sunflower seeds?" He laughed, "Seeds? What for?" She smiled and replied, "For your cells." That night, she brought him almonds, spinach, avocado. She gave him a vitamin E supplement, nothing fancy, just consistent. Weeks passed, then months. One spring morning, Robert stood up, no cane, no helper, and walked down his porch steps, not rushed, not heroic, just normal, and for him, normal felt like a miracle. You see, we think aging is always decline, but often, it's deficiency. Vitamin E isn't a cure, but it's fuel. It supports circulation, fights inflammation, and gives muscles what they need to thrive in old age. You'll find it in sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach, hazelnuts, avocados, and yes, even that spoonful of wheat germ oil your grandma used to keep. Add it. Use it, let it work quietly, like oil in an engine, because the fountain of youth, it was never a place, it was never magic, it was cellular wisdom, and vitamin E is one of its keepers. So, if your legs feel older than your heart, maybe what you need isn't more willpower, maybe you just need to feed your cells. And now, we arrive at a vitamin that doesn't just defend, but builds. One that lays the foundation of every muscle, every tendon, every fiber of strength. In every great building, there's something you don't see, a foundation, laid long before the roof, the doors, the windows, a structure beneath the structure, quietly holding everything in place. And in your body, beneath your muscles, beneath your skin, beneath the strength you thought was yours to keep, lies a similar foundation. It's called bone. But bone is not stone, it's not static, it's living, breathing, constantly rebuilding itself. And in your later years, that rebuilding slows, unless one critical builder shows up. Vitamin K2, let's be honest, vitamin K2 isn't trendy, it's not splashed across cereal boxes, it doesn't headline health blogs, but in the quiet chambers of medical journals. In the whispers of forward-thinking doctors, in the wisdom of ancient diets, it's been there all along. K2 tells calcium where to go. Sounds simple, right? But without it, calcium, the mineral you trust for strong bones, goes rogue. It calcifies your arteries instead of fortifying your skeleton. It stiffens your joints instead of strengthening your spine. It turns your blood vessels to chalk, while your bones grow hollow. But with enough vitamin K2, the body becomes wise again. Calcium finds its true home, your hips, your knees, your femur, your foundation. Meet Lillian. She's 94, and still walks to church every Sunday, not because she has to, but because she can. 10 years ago, her doctor warned her, your bone density is slipping. Be careful with stairs. But Lillian wasn't the type to surrender to a statistic. She learned about K2, found it in natto, a fermented Japanese soy dish, sticky and strong. She added egg yolks, hard cheeses, grass-fed butter, and yes, a high-quality K2 supplement paired with vitamin D3. Today, Lillian doesn't just stand, she holds herself, her home, her independence. Vitamin K2 doesn't shout, it whispers to calcium, guides it home, preserves what truly matters, the structure beneath the structure. In medical circles, it's called the bone vitamin. But to those who've learned its power, it's more than that. It's the silent guardian of stability, because without strong bones, strong legs are an illusion. No matter how much you stretch, no matter how much protein you eat, if the pillars crumble, the temple will fall. So what do? Eat fermented foods like natto. If you're brave enough, include full-fat cheeses and egg yolks. Supplement wisely, especially if you already take vitamin D or calcium. And always remember, vitamins don't work in isolation, they are a team, a symphony of support, each one playing its note in the grand orchestra of your health. Your legs, the very limbs that walked you through heartbreak, that danced in your youth, that carried children, that stood firm in the face of life's storms, they deserve to last, to move you with dignity, to hold you with grace. And vitamin K2, it's the final lock in the chain, the quiet keeper of strength, long after the world thinks it should have faded. But before we end, there's one more truth to uncover, a truth beyond nutrients, beyond vitamins, beyond science itself. In the final chapter, we won't just talk about the body. We'll talk about the spirit, because strong legs mean nothing if you've lost the will to stand. We've talked about bones, joints, muscles, we've discussed the vitamins that restore strength, the minerals that guide, the secrets that keep us moving forward, but there's one thing I haven't mentioned, because, after all, you already know it. It's the thing that makes us more than just our bodies. It's the thing that propels us, even when the weight of the years is upon our shoulders. Its purpose, its meaning. Think of the great stories of older generations. Think of the warriors, the builders, the survivors. It wasn't just their legs that carried them through, it was their will to stand. And, no matter how strong your body is, if the purpose is gone, the legs begin to falter. Not because of age, but because they have no reason to keep moving. Meet Evelyn. At 92, her legs were like iron, but her spirit was faltering. The loss of a partner, the quiet of solitude, the passing of friends, had left her adrift. Then, one day, her daughter brought over a stack of books. Not self-help books, not how to stay young forever books, but books on history, on philosophy, on adventure. And Evelyn began to read. With every page, her legs grew stronger, not from exercise, but from purpose, from the knowledge that her journey wasn't over, that there was still more to see, more to create, more to give. She began volunteering at her local library. Speaking to younger generations about the importance of resilience, she began gardening again, not just for food, but as an act of creation. Her legs didn't just move, they led her. You see, strength is not just about what you take in, not just about how well you fuel the body, it's about what the body fuels in return. When your legs move with purpose, they aren't just carrying you from place to place, they're carrying your dreams, your stories, your legacy. Maybe you're someone who's still working, still striving, still building. Maybe you're a grandparent who wants to keep playing with your grandchildren. Or maybe you simply want to walk without pain, without hesitation. Whatever your reason, don't lose it, because that reason, that spark of purpose, will carry you further than any pill, any vitamin, any exercise. And, yes, your legs may weaken. Your joints may groan, but if you have purpose, you'll find that your legs can keep up with your heart. If you've made it this far, then you know, strength doesn't fade when you know why you stand. It's not just about the muscles, not just about the vitamins, it's about the will to move forward. So, the next time you wake up, remember, you are not just getting older, you are getting stronger, in body, in mind, and in spirit. Before we end, I want to leave you with something important. You have the power to reclaim your vitality, to reclaim your strength, to stand tall again, and to share your journey with the world. So, if you found value in this video, if you've learned something that's already changing your life, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more content like this. And most importantly, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because, no matter where we are in life, we all deserve to stand tall. Let's keep moving forward, together.